give a warm welcome for our State Representative, Jim Walsh.
Thanks. The only update to that bio is I'm not the only conservative elected from the 19th district. In the last election cycle, we took all 3 legislative spots from Southwest Washington. So give yourselves a round. You all helped do that. Let me start the way I like to start at these. The right of petition and of the people peaceably to assemble for the common good shall never be infringed. Are you here for the common good?
Yes, sir.
Well, good. So in Olympia, we're battling. We're battling in that building there, and we're battling online in Zoom meetings. What we're battling for are the foundational values of individual liberty and individual rights, which our state constitution and our federal constitution both enumerate. They enumerate those rights, but they don't grant those rights. Those rights come from a place higher than the top of the dome on that building.
Yeah.
By being born, you have the foundational right to speak your mind, to practice your faith as you choose, to own property, to start a family, to associate with other people, all to advance your own self-ownership and self-realization.
Yeah.
The core of the foundational values that make this state and this country great is the individual. The individual is the smallest minority that there ever is, yet the greatest force for good in our state, in our communities, in our world. And what we've forgotten in the last 20-odd years here in the state's capital is that foundational focus on individual liberty. We've given in to what the great economist and political theorist Frederick Hayek called the fatal conceit. We've given in to the idea that credentialed experts know better than you how to live your life. Do they?
No.
Of course they don't. But it's a lazy, sloppy approach to public policy and politics. It's lazy to tell other people that you know better than they how they should live. Yet that laziness, that is the corruption that is rotting the core of our state government here. That laziness is the decadence that is making our country weak at the points at which it should be strong. That laziness is the opponent. That's the battle we're fighting against. That's the adversary. A lazy decadence in establishing law, in establishing our courts, in establishing our public policy that shapes our communities. We can't give in to that laziness. That laziness is what allowed us to modify our state's constitution, to extend and expand the emergency powers that we grant the governor here. We grant those powers to the governor. The governor doesn't have those powers. Those powers are in you. And you delegate those powers to people you elect to public office. But we've forgotten this. We've forgotten this. We believe that the governor has emergency powers. And we've allowed those emergency powers, which were originally designed to last 14 days, to last years. Is that right? What we have to do in the battle that we're fighting right now, in that building over there, and in the battles back east in the District of Columbia, we need to remember that power is inherent in the people, not in the elected officials. And that when faulty laws and well-meaning but flawed policy shifts the power inherent in the people to a handful of lazy and decadent officials, we are heading for trouble. Do you agree? So we have to rediscover the individual liberty. We have to rediscover the foundational values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We have to rediscover those things that we knew and we know, but we've forgotten, and we failed to teach to our younger generation. We have to rediscover the brilliance of our foundational documents that said if you look after yourself and your family, if you take care of yourself and your family, the good that comes from that emanates outward to your neighborhood, your city, your county, your state, your nation. But the good starts in you.
That's right.
Don't let someone tell you that the good starts in that building over there, because it doesn't.
Nope.
The policies that start in that building over there lead to those tents over there.
That's right.
It's a laziness and a decadence that treats our neighbors living across the street there like they're animals, not like they're humans. Those are people, and they've been failed by a public policy that treats them like something else. We have to remember what we've forgotten. We have to remember that in every person, even an addict in the throes of self-destruction, there is a spark of the eternal. We have to protect that spark. We have to nurture that spark in ourselves and our neighbors. That's the genius that creates a free society of free men and women, of free children, of free families. From that, everything else follows. From that, our schools reopen. From that, our restaurants reopen. From that, our businesses restore. But first, we have to rediscover that individual spark, that individual liberty. That's how we win. That's how all of us do better. That's how we turn back the tide of the would-be tyrants and the grubbers of elected power. And it's happening. Be of good cheer. It's happening. In the last few weeks, the current governor of Washington has yielded on a number of key fronts. He's allowed us to proceed into phase 3 of his reopening scheme. He's allowed schools to reopen. But has he really allowed any of this? No. No. He's responded to the pressure that we've put on him at the Capitol, on the social media, and in 100,000 meetings like this. We have to keep the pressure on him, and he will fold unwillingly to the greater good of individual liberty. So it's working. It's working. But we need to keep fighting. And you know what it is? The fight doesn't end with phase 4. The fight doesn't end with schools open 5 days a week. The fight doesn't end at the next election. The fight goes on forever. That's what our founders knew. Protecting your individual liberty, your individual autonomy, your freedom is a battle that never ends. So be of good cheer, be a happy warrior, and realize that even when we're winning, we have to keep fighting.
Yes.
It is the fight that defines us.
Yes.
God bless you all, be well, and keep fighting.